Janine, Capri, everyone else that's been working here in Rhode Island. You are the ones that produced the victory for Bernie. And believe me, from the people I've been talking to, it was a shock to the system. It was a 12-point victory. No one expected it. This is Clinton country. All right, so I'm one of those guys inspired to run because of Bernie. All right, so I've chosen well, what seems to be a very uphill battle, right, running against Langevin. But I ask you, of all the Bernie issues, right, have you ever heard Jim Langevin talk about any of them? You ever hear him? Income inequality? Any of that? Never hear one word about the issues that Bernie's been talking about. To me, the vote in the primary and that fact suggests that there's a disconnect between the grassroots in Rhode Island and the elected officials, right? So the elected officials serve and go where the money is, right? It's something that Bernie's been talking about for a long time. And so we have to be disruptive of that whole system. Because, as you know, power and economic and political power only change under pressure. If there's no pressure, the status quo will just continue on and on and on, as it has been. All right, there have been past insurgencies besides Bernie, not as strong as Bernie, right? But there have been past insurgencies, and I compare it to like the Pillsbury Doughboy, right? So the Pillsbury Doughboy is the establishment, right? So these insurgencies come along and we stick their finger in the doughboy temporarily, right? But then when we pull the finger out, when the campaign is over, right? When the insurgency dissipates, the doughboy just returns to normal. That's what happens each and every time. So unless the pressure is kept up by the grassroots over several election cycles, change will never take place. That's what the establishment is counting on with Bernie, right? That the grassroots will dissipate. Notice how they're kind of they're not responding very well to it, right? But they're just waiting. They have time on their side, and that's how they get past each and every election cycle, and no change ever occurs. Right. So Bernie comes along, and he attracts massive amounts of money outside the normal system, but also people who voted for it. All right? So now we have a chance to impact the establishment and the status quo. I'm running for Congress because Bernie needs to go back to Congress now, right, and have some people to help him, right? So that's where I have to be. I have to be by Bernie's side, doing Bernie's work, right? So I'm running on Bernie's platform. We all believe in it. We're going to try to make sure that the establishment that has adopted some of his platform in words, right, actually carries through on those things. Because they do this all the time. They put things in the platform, right? Then they ignore the platform when they get in office, right? And, then we're back where there's no change, right? So, that's why I'm running. He's got all the money, right? It's just like Bernie, when Bernie started out. Clinton had all the money. So, and it's only 30 days. So, we're going to be hopefully contacting you and asking you to start a get out the vote operation right now. We only have 30 or so days to the election, right? We have to do it in that period of time. We don't have the time to build up a campaign that over months and months of time, right? We have to go right to the get out the vote. So I'm asking you, when you're contacted, to please, make a list of 10 people that you know that you can bring to the polls on September 13th, which is primary day, right? And I won't tell you how many we need, all right? We've done a little analysis of how many voters we need to win this election, right? Because I don't want the other side to focus it on that, all right? But anyway, it's an extremely doable thing, all right? So we have the opportunity to upset an establishment Democrat who is, and who does not address the issues that you have responded to in supporting Bernie, all right? So I'm going to Washington. I want to support Bernie. I want to further his agenda, and I hope you all will support me. Bring 10 people to the polls, right? And we'll put it together, all right? What else I want to say? Oh, the convention was great, all right? It was great being with these two, Daniel, Walter, and Amanda, all right? Two more over here. Walter's going to talk to you shortly. When I was there, I was able to, I worked over several days to try to get Bernie to come and speak to our caucus, all right? And last night before the breakfast meeting, I got word that Bernie would come on over and speak to us. So that was quite a thrill to everybody. But I promised Bernie that we would keep the movement going, because it's only the sustained pressure on the status quo that changes it. And yep, right? And that's the only thing that works, because they're just going to ignore you and hope that you go away. So I'm hoping that you'll support me in this campaign, that you'll come out and vote, that you'll bring friends and family, make a list and get them there. And it's a very doable thing if we get out the vote. All right, that's all I have.